A human being, from the moment we're born, we're slowly cooking. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. For example, if you look at the cartilage of babies, it's white. But if you look at the cartilage of somebody who's 100 years old, the cartilage is brown. We glycate, we brown as we age.
You are destroying yourself. What if I told you every bagel, every healthy smoothie, every so-called energy snack could be shaving years off your life? Glucose spikes don't just mess with your weight. They wrinkle your skin, clog your arteries, wreck your sleep, and even hijack your brain.
How do you keep, besides not eating, I guess, how do you not have a glucose spike when you're eating foods?
You avoid eating too many carbs on their own, too many carbs for breakfast, too many processed foods.
And the scariest part? You could be experiencing them every single day without even knowing it. In this episode of the Ageless Protocol, I'm exposing the hidden link between glucose spikes and aging, and once you see it, you'll never eat the same way again. Why glucose spikes are aging you faster than you realize. Most people think aging is just about getting older, but the truth is far darker. The more your blood sugar spikes, the faster you age. And I'm not just talking about wrinkles on your skin. I'm talking about your organs, your brain, your energy, literally every system in your body breaking down faster than it should. This is why 3 out of 5 people today are going to die from inflammation-driven diseases like cancer, Alzheimer's, heart disease, you name it. And one of the biggest hidden drivers of this inflammation is glucose spikes. That innocent orange juice, that healthy cereal, that afternoon energy bar, they all push your body on a violent roller coaster. Here at the Ageless Protocol, we break down the real science behind aging, and we've even lined up exclusive discounts on tools in the description below, only for our community. Don't miss that if you want to test your own glucose response. But first, let's rip apart the lies about sugar and aging. What glucose really is and why you should care. Glucose is simply blood sugar. It's the fuel your body runs on. Every time your muscles contract, every thought you have, every heartbeat, that's glucose being burned. The main way we feed our body glucose is through starches and sugars. Starches are things like bread, rice, pasta, potatoes. Sugars are anything sweet. Fruit, desserts, soda, candy. You know what? Your body actually doesn't need added sugar at all. You heard that right. Not a single gram. You can live a perfectly healthy life without ever touching sweets. So why do we eat so much? Because sugar isn't nutrition, it's dopamine. It hijacks your brain's reward system, makes you feel good for a moment, and leaves you hooked. That's why most of us are unknowingly addicted. Why spikes are so dangerous. Here's where it gets nasty. When you eat carbs or sugar, your blood sugar shoots up fast. That's a glucose spike. But those repeated spikes don't just make you tired or give you cravings. They physically age you at the cellular level. 3 major disasters happen inside your body every time your glucose spikes. Number 1, mitochondria overload. Your mitochondria, the tiny engines in your cells, get slammed with too much fuel. They shut down under the pressure. That's why you feel fatigued even though you just ate. Chronic fatigue isn't normal aging. It's broken mitochondria from repeated spikes. Number 2, glycation. Just like chicken browns in the oven, glucose molecules bind to your proteins and cook your tissues.
A human being, from the moment we're born, we're slowly cooking. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. For example, if you look at the cartilage of babies, it's white. But if you look at the cartilage of somebody who's 100 years old, the cartilage is brown. We glycate, we brown as we age.
Your cartilage, your skin, your arteries, they literally brown from the inside out. This process is aging in fast forward. Number 3, inflammation firestorm. Spikes cause inflammation that silently eats away at your health. Right now, 3 out of 5 people will die from an inflammation-based disease. If that doesn't wake you up, nothing will. Spikes, fat gain, and diabetes. Your body knows spikes are dangerous, so it pumps out insulin to shove that sugar out of your blood. Some of it goes into muscles and the liver, but the overflow, straight into fat cells. That's why even healthy eaters can't lose fat. Their body is in permanent storage mode. Over time, too much insulin leads to insulin resistance, then prediabetes, then full-blown type 2 diabetes. And while most people fear diabetes, what they don't realize is this. The damage starts years before you ever get diagnosed. Fatigue, brain fog, hormonal chaos, stubborn fat, and cravings are all the signs your glucose is already wrecking you. And it doesn't stop there.
Do they have symptoms of glucose spikes? Do they feel cravings for sugar? Do they feel tired throughout the day? Do they ever experience brain fog, mental slowness? Do they not sleep very well? Do they have inflammation on their skin like acne, psoriasis, eczema, etc.? Those are all signs of glucose spikes.
The worst part is how glucose spikes accelerate visible aging, not just inside your body, but on your skin. And that's where we're headed next. How spikes show up on your skin. You want to know why your skin looks older than it should? It's not just the sun or bad genes, it's sugar. When glucose spikes, it accelerates a process called glycation, and glycation destroys collagen, the protein that keeps your skin firm and elastic. That's why wrinkles and sagging show up sooner than they should. Ever notice people who live on processed foods often look older than their age? That's not a coincidence. Their skin is literally breaking down from the inside out. Every pastry, soda, or sugary latte is pushing them toward faster visible aging. If you care about skincare but you're ignoring your glucose, you're wasting money on creams that will never fix the root cause. The breakfast trap. Breakfast is the most rigged meal of the day. We were taught to start our mornings with cereal, orange juice, oatmeal, fruit smoothies, all sold as healthy, but these are blood sugar bombs. The worst part, see, spiking first thing in the morning sets the tone for the entire day. You spike, you crash, you crave, then you repeat the cycle until bedtime. The scary truth is, the healthy no-sugar cereal is just starch. It still spikes your glucose as badly as candy. Your body doesn't care if the sugar comes from a banana, a bagel, or a soda. To your cells, it's all the same. Fuel dumped in too fast. Hidden sugars everywhere. Do you think you're safe because you don't eat dessert? Glucose is hiding in foods you'd never suspect. That whole wheat bread? Wait for the spikes. That granola bar marketed as natural? Spikes be like, hello. Even low-fat yogurts are loaded with sugar. Fruit is another trap. Yes, whole fruit is better than junk food, but modern fruit has been bred to be sugar bombs. Grapes, apples, bananas, all far sweeter than what nature intended. And the moment you juice or blend them, you strip away the fiber that slows absorption. Suddenly, you've created a direct pipeline of sugar to your bloodstream. Even dried fruit, which most people see as a healthy snack, is basically candy disguised in a raisin. The real cost of crashes. What happens after spikes is just as brutal. After every spike comes a crash, and that crash triggers hunger, irritability, and uncontrollable cravings. It's why you can't just eat one cookie. What's worse? These crashes don't just mess with your energy. They hijack your brain. Studies show when your glucose dips, your craving center lights up like fireworks. Suddenly, all you can think about is sugar, and no amount of willpower can fight a brain screaming for fuel. This is why people blame themselves for being weak. But it's not weakness. It's biology. And unless you flatten those spikes, you'll keep living as a prisoner to cravings. And this vicious cycle doesn't just affect your mood or your skin. It's hammering your heart and arteries in ways most people have no clue about. That's what we're breaking down next. Glucose spikes are wrecking your heart. Everyone's scared of cholesterol, but let me scare you. Your post-meal glucose spikes are a bigger predictor of heart attacks and strokes than your LDL. Think about that. Doctors obsess over cholesterol numbers, but research shows high blood sugar after meals directly damages your arteries. Here's how it happens. Every spike stiffens and narrows the delicate blood vessels that feed your heart. Over time, plaque builds, blood flow gets restricted, and you're one cheeseburger away from a heart attack. Even if your fasting glucose looks normal, you can be silently killing your arteries with daily spikes. Spikes in your brain. But it's not just your heart. Your brain is another victim. Ever feel foggy after a meal? That's your neurons drowning in sugar, then crashing when insulin overcorrects. Chronic glucose swings are linked to memory loss, anxiety, depression, and even dementia. In fact, Alzheimer's is now being called type 3 diabetes because of how closely it's tied to glucose dysfunction. That should terrify you. Every soda, every healthy juice, every giant bowl of pasta is sabotaging your brain. Sleep, hormones, and mood, the silent collateral damage. You think your sleep sucks because of stress or too much screen time? Guess again. Spikes trash your sleep. When glucose crashes at night, your body jolts awake with a racing heart and night sweats. That's why so many people toss and turn. Your hormones take a beating too. Insulin resistance disrupts estrogen, testosterone, thyroid hormones. Everything. For women, this can mean PCOS and fertility struggles. For men, low testosterone and chronic fatigue. And don't even get me started on mood. Ever snapped at someone and thought, why did I overreact? It might not be your personality. It might be your blood sugar swinging like a wrecking ball. Hacks to flatten spikes before they age you. Now here's the part that most people never hear. You don't have to cut carbs forever or live like a monk. You just need to know how to eat smarter. Start meals with vegetables. Fiber creates a shield in your gut that slows sugar absorption. Add protein and fat. Never eat carbs naked. Dress them with protein, fat, or fiber. Move after meals. A 10-minute walk burns off glucose before it can do damage. Use vinegar. 1 tablespoon in water before a carb-heavy meal can slash a spike by nearly 30%. Save sweets for dessert. Eating sugar on an empty stomach is a direct ticket to a spike. Dessert after protein and fiber is far less destructive. These aren't diets. They're weapons. Small changes that slash glucose spikes and keep you from fast-forwarding your own aging. Glucose spikes are not harmless. They are the accelerator pedal on aging. If you want to live younger for longer, flatten the spikes. Because once you control your glucose, you control your energy, your mood, your skin, your longevity. And that's what we stand for here at the Ageless Protocol. Don't just watch this and forget it. Follow, subscribe, and stay with us. Knowing about glucose spikes is one thing. Actually seeing them in your own body is where the real shock hits. That's why we made a full video on continuous glucose monitors, CGMs, the only tool that shows you in real time how every bite you eat affects your blood sugar and your aging. Watch that next, and if you're serious about staying younger for longer, get your CGM and start tracking today.